tonight, a final day of harrowing evidence at the close of the Grenfell inquiry. Good evening. The second phase of the Grenfell inquiry, which has taken place over the last 18 months, drew to a close today. It was another day of harrowing evidence, this time accounts of what happened to people living on the 14th floor of the tower, including a mother and her 2-year-old son. They were among the 72 people who died in the fire and whose names were all read out today. A warning, this report from Rags Martel contains details you may find distressing.
The problem with inquiries is that they take years, change, and then recommendations get...
OK, Rags, thank you. Well, some of the families evacuated after a huge fire ripped through an estate in Dagenham on Tuesday. Today went back to see the full extent of the damage. For many, all that's left are the charred remains of buildings that were once homes. A lifetime of memories gone, and even pets, also part of the family, still missing. Well, from Dagenham, our correspondent Simon Harris reports. Next tonight, and to a more positive story, and the breakthrough treatment for haemophilia B, which it's hoped could transform thousands of lives. Developed by researchers at UCL and the Royal Free Hospitals, people with a condition where the blood doesn't clot properly could effectively be cured with just a single injection. Well, patients who've already had the therapy have described it as miraculous. With more, here's Carolyn Sim. Coming up. But first, to a new cancer campaign that's been backed by David Beckham in memory of his close friend, Baroness Tessa Jowell. Well, Tessa Jowell, what a response there. Well, now a special edition of film director Danny Boyle's London 2012 opening ceremony is to be screened in cinemas to raise money for the Tessa Jowell Foundation, a charity, of course, set up in her name. And I'm very pleased to say that coming in, I've got to talk about that clip. We saw your mum there. I remember it at the time, and it was just incredibly poignant, and people in the room with her. But the response from everyone who saw that, it just must be so proud. And yeah, you know, your mum put so much work into really raising awareness. Looking at those pictures there, I mean, it was one of those. I mean, the whole Olympics was amazing. London 2012. I mean, London felt transformed. Everyone was in a great mood, weren't they? But that opening,
9th of July.
It's interesting you say that. We need it at the moment because some of the images from that Olympic opening ceremony were they were very positive. There was a real utopian ideal, if you like. I mean, 10 years on, we're in a very different situation. We've had a pandemic. We've got cost of living crisis. I mean, what do you think your mum would have made of things as they are right now?
Well, and you know, the glory of the Olympics came from this very, very special...
Yes, thank you. Worth pointing out, of course, she was a Labour MP. The ITV News continues. Next, after us, here's Charlene. Next from us, TfL has made a U-turn over plans to close the Central Line this evening, earlier today. Now, when Jackson Garwood was diagnosed with a very rare disease, his parents were told not to expect him to live beyond the age of 2. But Jackson has defied the odds. Next month, he'll celebrate his 8th birthday. Well, his family, who care for him full-time, have been fundraising to buy specialist equipment so they can take Jackson on holiday. Natalia Horquera went to meet them.
I love you.
Now, England's Lionesses are one step closer to the Wembley final after beating Spain in the Women's Euros last night. That's why a new fan park is being set up in Trafalgar Square. Up to 5,000 people will be able to watch the semi-finals on Tuesday night. Antoine Allen has all the details. And the fans won't just be in Trafalgar Square now. Prepare yourself for something different, because staff at the London Aquarium say they have a big fan living in one of their tanks. Haven't we all? Well, look, things have cooled down after those record-breaking temperatures earlier this week, but are they warming up again? Here's James with a forecast. And finally, Joe Wicks has received the first ever honorary doctorate from London St Mary's University. I bet that's it. We're back with the latest after ITV News at 10. The ITV Evening News is up next, but from me and the rest of the London team, bye-bye.